What's going on? What's going on, guys? This is your man, Real Deal, Steele, coming to you live for a special super duper night owl edition of Steele Live. What's going on, guys? Good to see you guys. Good to see each and every one of you. So thank you for joining me in this late hour. Who do we got in the chat active so far? We've got the 7-1. We've got Hump Deezy. We got Mr. Lynn. We've got Alan Schneider. We got 7-1. We got Diamond Hands Freddy. We got Hunter Wayne. We got Mama Crypto, Larry Ramirez, Andy Shirley, 7-1, of course, Johnny Crypto, I think I got Crypto Daniel already. I don't think I missed anyone. Yes, the double call-outs are the winners. Great to see you guys. Before we get started, if I could just ask you to smash that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help the channel out. Appreciate it, guys. And if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. You're watching Steele Live. I'm Steele, and we got an awesome community here and want you to be a part of it. So feel free to hit subscribe, hit all on that notification bell, and ascend with us to the moon, Mars, and beyond. Sliding Edge starting things off right out of sight late tonight with a $5 super chat. $5 super chat coming from Sliding Edge. Steel Mania, what you gonna do, brother? I like that. What you gonna do? I love it. Steel Mania would be like a pretty cool like 80s vintage style t-shirt for the shop. I don't know, maybe I'll consider it. A couple other people have asked me to make Real Deal Steele shirts. I don't know if I could just put my name really big on a shirt, and I don't know if I can bring myself to do that. But what do you guys think between Steel Mania and that one? John 313, what is up? Julio, good to see you in the mix as well. Yeah, we always got a pretty fair amount of night owls in this community. Third shifters, night owls, etc. So yeah, there's always folks around, and no matter how late I go on, for the most part. So anyway, great to see you guys. Got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight, some amusing stuff to talk about tonight, and we will get down to it, boppers, for sure. At the top of the cycle, I have an article from Forbes magazine. Elon Musk reveals Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto theory. Admits he doesn't really get Ethereum and issues Dogecoin Mars prediction amid crypto price crash. Elon Musk, who both boosted and crashed the Bitcoin price this year, I already take issue with this article right out of the gate to entirely attribute Elon Musk to crashing Bitcoin. I mean, there was an adjustment period for sure when he announced that he was taking Bitcoin off of the Tesla roster, but things stabilized, readjusted, and ascended. It didn't take too long for Bitcoin to start ascending after that correction, after that news. But right now we are definitely in more correction as Bitcoin is just under 47,000 right now. And what does that mean? Well, from as far as what I can see, folks, I think this is very natural in concordance with tax time. So I think a lot of people right now are they're pulling a lot of their earnings for tax time. So and this kind of I actually looked back on the records around this time of year too, and it's not uncommon for the entire market to kind of take a dip right at the end of December, beginning of January, for kind of the same reason. That's particularly since we're kind of in. Also, another thing you want to keep in mind too is, I don't know if there's solid metrics on the entire market of this so far. There is in certain segments of it, but I would bet that the majority of cryptocurrency investors are new. I think I would bet the majority of cryptocurrency investors in totality, period, are a year or less in. So you're dealing with a lot of that too, and I think that's a very real dynamic that's setting in. The thing is, once people become a bit more experienced and seasoned investors, they tend to pick stronger projects and hold longer. And I think that we will be beneficiaries of that, particularly coming into 2022. So many people came to the space very wet behind the ears in 2021. Going to 2022, I think it's going to be a very different story in some very positive ways. And I don't think we're going to particularly have to wait too long to see the dividends of that. Again, I'm extremely bullish on the entire market, not only for the first quarter of 2022, but particularly the second half of the first quarter of 2022. Anyway, let me get back to this article, but not until I get to a shout out to Truckin' All Day, coming with a $10 to make you holler. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Truck All Day. Hugely appreciated. Thanks for keeping the lights on over here. Hey everyone, thank you, Steven, for holding it down. Thank you right back, my friend. Always appreciate you trucking all day. Awesome to see you in the mix. Bitcoin price has fallen sharply this week, wiping over $100 billion in value from the combined crypto market. Ethereum prices also crashed back, with some Ethereum's biggest rivals reading the market lower, and the meme-based Dogecoin almost losing 10%. Now, Musk has weighed in on the mystery of Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi, arguing that the Bitcoin's inventor's true identity isn't as important as the evolution of ideas that led to it. Big agree there. And naming crypto pioneer Nick Szabo as a driver of that evolution. This is a direct quote from Elon. You can look at the evolution of ideas before the launch of Bitcoin and see who wrote, those ideas, Musk told podcaster and AI researcher Lex Friedman, who had asked if it was a feature or a bug that Satoshi's identity is unknown. Elon said it's an interesting kind of quirk in human history that there's a particular technology that is a completely anonymous inventor. Obviously, I don't know who created Bitcoin. It seems as though Nick Szabo is probably more than anyone else responsible for the evolution of those ideas, Musk said, adding that he claims not to be Nakamoto, but seems to be the one more responsible for the ideas behind it than anyone else. And finally here, Musk said, I never quite understood how this whole smart contract thing, Musk said, joking, I'm too dumb to understand smart contracts, saying my general approach to any kind of deal or whatever is to make sure there's clarity of understanding. And of course, these are excerpts taken from the absolutely epic podcast that just took place between Elon Musk and Lex Friedman. We're going to talk a bit more about what Elon said and what transpired in that interview in a little bit, particularly as it relates to Dogecoin. And it's really, really positive stuff. So stay tuned for that. Next story. We've got on Benzinga. Dogecoin takes a dive, but the crypto still shows signs of life heading into 2022. Dogecoin trading slightly lower on Wednesday in consolidation after sliding 7.5% during Tuesday's 24-hour trading session in sympathy with Bitcoin, which shook the cryptocurrency market. 6.26 dropped that day. As 2021 comes to a close, Dogecoin enthusiasts have had their hopes of an end-of-year $1 price target crushed. But as the crypto continues to gain utility, yes it does, which is likely to continue in 2022, Dogecoin traders and investors will be watching for $1 predictions to resurface next year. Let me read that part again. I'm going to read this part again, and then I'm going to explain to you why I think it's significant. But as the crypto, meaning Dogecoin, continues to gain utility, which is likely to continue into 2022, Dogecoin traders and investors will be watching for $1 predictions to resurface this year. Now, what's particularly telling about that? What is particularly telling about that? I'll tell you what's particularly telling about that. This is concrete evidence that the whole narrative and the way journalists are now writing about Dogecoin has been changing much more rapidly over the last few weeks than perhaps we've seen all year. We are finally seeing an overall sea change of people in the media. Instead of referring to Dogecoin as this one-dimensional joke, meme coin, etc., blah, blah, blah. Now it's acknowledged out of the gate, and this is becoming more commonplace, as a coin of increasing utility that's only gaining more relevance into the new year. That's exactly what Benzinga is saying. And this isn't the first time I've seen this narrative now breach over to the mainstream media. I wouldn't say Benzinga is totally mainstream, but I have seen this same narrative expressed on CNBC and others as well. And this is in large part to Elon Musk, the wealthiest man in the world, very much legitimizing the credibility of Dogecoin. And not only that, but going out of his way repeatedly now through really large platforms where a lot of people are seeing it, where Elon calmly explains the utility of Dogecoin and what specifically Dogecoin's strengths are. And I would imagine that there are so many people out there that had no idea that still, up until a couple weeks ago, that had no idea that Dogecoin was more than a joke, was more than a meme coin. I don't think they had any idea up until perhaps the Time magazine interview, up until perhaps the recent bouts of positive press, more endearing press towards Dogecoin. And I think it's a direct consequence of Elon specifically praising the strengths of Dogecoin. The hashtag Do Only Good Every Day has continued to trend across social media this year, and Doge Army have most importantly bound together to use Shiba Inu themed crypto to help support others. Dogecoin has not only become accepted as payment option companies such as Tesla and EMC Entertainment, but it also has been welcomed by charities and organizations such as Mr. Beast's Team Seas. Remember that? Not too long ago, Mr. Beast, he was raising money for Team Seas, which is a group, an environmental group that helps clean up our oceans. And the Dogecoin community really came through on that one, and I think we're responsible for giving about $150,000 in Dogecoin towards Team C. So yeah, thought that was a really cool initiative for sure. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anyone. Again, Mama Crypto, Larry Ramirez, Josh, my mods. Thanks for holding it down. Sorry you're having a rough night, Josh. We're here for you. Okay, I think I'm caught up. It's most of you guys just chatting back and forth with each other, just making sure I'm not missing any comments directed at me or questions. Let me go to the next story, folks. Now, these are always fun. You get to these you see very often in the press, and they're a little bit clickbaity-ish, but they're kind of fun to think about. And this one comes courtesy of CNBC. Here's how much money you'd have if you invested $1,000 in 4 of the top cryptocurrencies this year. If you invested just $1,000 in 4 of the top cryptocurrencies this year. These are these things you want to know, but you don't want to know. You know what I mean? You want to know, but you don't want to know. 2021 was a banner year for cryptocurrency, with digital tokens such as Bitcoin and Dogecoin hitting all-time high and making millionaires of investors. The overall crypto market briefly surpassed $3 trillion in value, and growing popularity of digital assets such as NFTs helped bring the once niche technology into the mainstream. Well, digital currencies such as Bitcoin and Dogecoin have different levels of technological development and scarcity. See what's happening here? This is incredibly good news. This is incredibly positive news. Do you see how that's framed? Now, this is even much more mainstream than Benzinga. This is CNBC, folks. Listen how they are already talking about. Listen to the dramatic sea shift in the way the mainstream press is covering Dogecoin now, just in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to read this again. Well, digital currencies such as Bitcoin and Dogecoin have different levels of technological development and scarcity. See how much more legit that sounds in relation to how they're talking about Dogecoin? I would even dare guess if this article was written 1 month ago. If this article was written 1 month ago, either Dogecoin wouldn't have been mentioned in it, or it would have been mentioned as joke meme token Dogecoin. And now it's finally being recognized for its real concrete utility, different levels of technological development and scarcity. Both saw strong growth in 2021 along with other top coins. Read on to see what a $1,000 investment in 4 popular cryptos at the start of the year would be worth now. And who has been talking about the technological development and scarcity levels of both Bitcoin in relation to Dogecoin? Well, that's Elon. That's Elon. Jason Huffman coming in with a $20 super chat. Jason, thank you so much for helping keep the lights on over here at Steele HQ. Hugely appreciate it. Hey, y'all. Thanks for the great show, Steven. In 2022, things are going to start coming together for Doge. The puzzle pieces are starting to form the whole picture. We are going to win. Steven Steele, thank you. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you've been such a strong supporter of the show from the start. Hugely appreciated. And I completely agree with your super chat there. I do think the puzzle pieces that we've been mounting up, that we've been talking about all year, I do think they're finally coming to pass. I do think it's finally coming together in this regard. And I think we are seeing the signs. And what I'm talking to you guys about right now are the signs that we are seeing to indicate that this is the case for what's the stage that's being set in relation to not just Dogecoin, but Bitcoin as well. Sometimes there's maybe a misunderstanding that I'm dissing Bitcoin or I don't like Bitcoin. That's not true. That couldn't be further from the truth. We owe a lot to Bitcoin. Without Bitcoin, there wouldn't be Dogecoin. I have immense respect for Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I'm an investor in Bitcoin. But I also understand the things that Bitcoin does well and what its usefulness for, and where its weaknesses are, and where Doge's usefulness is. The problem is with maxis, they're unable to see any downsides of anything that they're most passionate about, right? Or shortcomings. I don't even know if that's even a word. The figure speech, the figure speech that I want to use for it, but you know what I mean. For example, I'm perfectly fine with acknowledging the shortcomings of Dogecoin. And what are the shortcomings of Dogecoin? Well, it's never going to $50,000 like Bitcoin. I can tell you that much. It's just not structured that way. It's impossible. But so it's never going to be that huge, long-term digital gold store of value. Now, I do think that, if you're in at the right time and you got strong enough positions, getting in when we have now, will Dogecoin get to $1? Yes, I do. I do believe that. Will Dogecoin get to $2? Yes, I do believe it'll get to $2. I can't tell you entirely when, but I do believe that Dogecoin will get to $2. So, do the math. Then people go on and on. Will Dogecoin get to $5? Actually, honestly, eventually I do think it will get to $5. I think that's a long, long ways away, but I do think it's going to happen. When it comes to crypto, remember the past performance is no guarantee of future returns, and experts caution investors to put no more money into cryptocurrencies than they are comfortable losing. You guys know the disclaimers. Now, on with it. On with the results here. If you put $1,000 into Bitcoin 365 days ago, you would have a profit right now of about $30,000. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now, if you would have put just $1,000 into Ethereum 1 year ago, you would have, let me see. Oh, sorry. I actually wasn't reading the right stats. So a year ago today, Bitcoin was at 29,000 just about 29,000, and today it's about 40. Where are we at right now? About 47,000. So do the math there. So that's 39, 4, yeah, almost $20,000. Yeah, still pretty good. Still pretty good. It's about a 65% jump. Now, last year at this time, Ethereum was just riding at around $700. Yeah, Ethereum was just riding around around $700 365 days ago. Right now, it's riding around 3,800, just under 4K. 4K. Just under 4K. So do the math there. So $1,000 purchase of Ethereum 1 year ago would be worth a little over $5,000 now. So that's about a 500% increase over a year. I tell you guys this because people are looking at the price of Ethereum now and they're kind of bummed that Ethereum's dropped back down under 4,000. And that is kind of a bummer, right? That is kind of a bummer. But what's easy to forget is that it was at $700 a year ago, just $700. So it wasn't even $1,000 just a year ago. So it's easy to forget how far we've come when you get so immersed in this stuff on the day-to-day basis. And that's why the old adage, when in doubt, zoom out, really comes into play, right? It's important to remind ourselves where we were to know where we're going, you understand? And you need to keep reminding yourself periodically, particularly in the cryptocurrency game, where we were to really understand where we're going. So do the math in 2022, maybe 1 year from today perhaps, will look like for you and your investments, right? Or at least the probability of. All right, now, Solana. This one's pretty massive. So it's pretty massive. If you had invested $1,000 in Solana at the beginning of 2021, let's see. It would be worth, are you ready for this? You'd have about $120,000. Easier said than done, right? Easier said than done. But because very few of us, let's be honest, very few of us were hip to Solana at 365 days ago. Most of us heard of Solana about 6 months ago. 6 to 9, 10 months ago was when most of us heard of Solana, to be frank, right? But when you look at Solana, those who had the foresight to get into Solana, literally a year ago, would see a $1,000 get turned into $120,000. So those are some pretty tasty gains. Now, guess I've read out 3 out of the 4 top what are considered 3 out of 4 of the top cryptocurrencies for 2021, and I still have 1 to go. And which one do you think it is? It's dog money, baby. It's Dogecoin. That's right. It's Dogecoin. I got my Doge getting feisty to my right here. She's tearing apart a pillow trying to get my attention. She wants some playtime. This is really not the most convenient time for this run. Okay, well, let's get down to it. So if you put $1,000 into Dogecoin at the start of the year, about 1 year ago, it would be worth about $33,000 now. Not too shabby. So if you put just 1K in Dogecoin 1 year from right at this moment, you're sitting on about $33,000 for every $1,000 you would have put in back then. Again, it's fun to think about. Hindsight's always 20/20. Don't beat yourselves up, because it's kind of like when you see these articles, it's like, well, yeah, hypothetically, if you had the foresight to invest in just the right cryptocurrency at just the right frame of time, you know what this dog is doing. You see this? You know when a dog does this? She ripped open her play pillow thing, and now the stuffing is going everywhere. Just everywhere. We'll have to work on that after the show. What kind of candy bars are you guys talking about? My favorite candy bars are, I like whatchamacallit a whole lot. I love whatchamacallit. I like peanut butter Twix. That's another one of my favorites. Of course, I can't have any of that good stuff now, but trying to think what else were my favorites. I would say, yeah, Peanut Butter Tricks and whatchamacallit are right at the top there. And everything else is just like high-end sea salt chocolate for me. Of course, it's hard to resist the classic Reese's, right? Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They really got the ratios pretty masterful there to make that so addicting for so many years for so many people. It's kind of vicious, right? This Doge, you can't see it, but she is just causing a commotion behind me. Remy, now is not playtime. Oh my gosh. Remy's like right behind me, like pushing me into my computer. Remy. Want to come on screen and say hi? Okay. Okay. Yeah, she's super feisty right now. You know when dogs do this just randomly, they just need your attention right at that moment. They get all feisty. All right, Rams, but I'm working here. I'm working here, babe. All right. Remy, calm down. Oh my gosh, Remy, calm. She has never acted up this strong while I've been live on there. This is really something. You need to calm down, okay? Calm down. Calm. Lie down. Lie down. Oh my gosh. Remy. My goodness. You are causing quite the scene. You're causing quite the commotion, young lady. Okay, I'm just going to have to keep petting her with one hand, or else she'll just totally freak out. I like Lind Milk Chocolate Bars. 7-1 says, yes, Lind makes high-quality chocolate for sure. We are pumping, folks. Are we? Are we pumping? Let me see. People have different definitions of pumping. Well, let's check it out. Let's check it out, folks. Dogecoin, yeah, it's accurate to say there's a modest pump going on. Dogecoin is up about 1% over the last hour, trading over 17%. Bitcoin, pretty much trading sideways. So why don't we pop in the Dogecoin chart, since Dogecoin seems to be breaking out a bit independently from the BTC, and we will explore that together. Yep, here we go. Now we'll zoom in on these candles. What you're looking at right now, folks, is a 30-minute chart. We're going to take it down to a 15. Zoom in. As you can see, yeah, there's a bit of upswing action here. Got about 4 green candles, and so we'll continue to monitor the situation. Maybe the Steele effect will really kick in, right? Maybe the Steele effect will really kick in, and we'll see Dogecoin get to 20 cents while I'm there. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be fun? Sounds like my cats, it says Alan. It's a sign. It's a sign of the Doges, yes. Let's just consider it a sign, guys. Let's consider it a sign. I saw the sign, as a famous Swedish pop band once exclaimed. All right, now where are my notes? I got so many tabs open that when I start moving things around, it's like, where'd it go? Okay. This is coming in from the Daily Wire. Democrats appear to back down from unrealized capital gains tax. This is great news. Remember, we've talked about this in the past. This unrealized capital gains tax proposal from Congress, which would basically enact pretty strong tax enforcement among the richest people in society, to be fair, but on their unrealized investments, right? On their unrealized investments, meaning they were proposing a law to tax almost like a pre-authorized tax on billionaires' stock and crypto investments before any of those gains actually had been realized, which is kind of unprecedented in this country. Now, of course, my concern was, when I first saw this hit the news, is that this would spread over into lower income brackets of people, because a lot of times when legislation gets introduced right at the very top, sometimes it definitely can come cascading down to lower income brackets of folks. Before you know it, it could be affecting you and I, and our own government is taxing us on unrealized crypto investment. No, that's my good pillow. You're being naughty. You're being naughty. Chill out, okay? You good girl. Chill out. Where's your bone? Go get your bone. Boy, she's being pretty high maintenance tonight, guys. Being pretty high maintenance tonight. The policy would have taxed profits earned through investments that have not been sold. As Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen argued in October, if it would help gain and capital gains, which are extraordinarily large part of the incomes of the wealthiest individuals, and right now escape taxation until they're realized, and often they're unrealized in the death benefit from so-called step-up basis. Among the wealthy Americans who reacted to the policy was Elon Musk. Eventually, they run out of other people's money, and then they come for you. Kind of the same thing as I said, but in more straightforward, kind of in a more straightforward way. Nevertheless, progressives have not abandoned the hope of a tax system that targets billionaires. When Elon announced that he would pay $11 billion in taxes this year, Primala Jayapal from Washington argued that he was still failing to fork over his quote-unquote fair share. She said this: Elon Musk made $36 billion in one day, but he wants to brag about he wants to brag about paying $11 billion tax bill. Oh yeah, he also added more than $270 billion in wealth since the pandemic started. Time for the rich to pay their fair share. This kind of it makes sense, right? It sounds good on the surface. If you didn't know much about tax policy, that would make sense. It really would. And I empathize with people who read this stuff on its face, and it makes sense to them. But unfortunately, this member of Congress, either intentfully or unbeknownst to her, a statement like this kind of reveals that she doesn't have a firm grasp on how taxes, investment, and business works. So his holdings, Elon Musk's holdings, have increased in value by $36 billion, okay? He doesn't make $36 billion until he sells those shares. The overwhelming majority of Elon's wealth is tied up in that fashion. So at which point, when he does cash out these shares, then he'll pay income on capital gains tax, which is common sense. Why this is a particularly difficult concept for elected leaders like the aforementioned remains to be seen. I don't know if she knows and she's just playing politics with it, or if she just really doesn't know. It's not that difficult of a concept. It's really not. So I rank the statement pretty misleading. You know, just purposely conflating the definition between unrealized and realized gains is pretty silly. But then again, we've seen this purposeful conflating of the truth in the past, particularly in regards to issues of immigration, between illegal and legal immigration, things like that. I don't want to go on a big tangent, but you know, the details matter, right? The details matter. You can say things that sound like they make perfectly logical sense, and you can even say them with apparent conviction, but when you actually look into, just peel it back one layer, you can oftentimes see how misleading these narratives sometimes can be. So just like crypto, the same as your news, folks. Do your own research. Do your own research. Next one is from some fan site, some fan site for like movies and comic books. Of course, someone made a Game of Thrones cryptocurrency. Want to heedlessly throw money at the market since for the market's next cryptocurrency obsession? Consider Drakery's Dragon Token before HBO puts a stop to it, and they will. JRR token is a really is a really good name for a cryptocurrency. I'll give it that, but that wasn't enough to save it from the wrath of the JRR token estate, which took it to count and eradicated it. If it ever gets big enough, something similar may happen to Drakery's Dragon token, a cryptocurrency trading on the popularity of Game of Thrones as its upcoming prequel series, House of Dragon. There isn't much of this crypto at the moment. There's a Twitter account with a little over 100 followers, and it's probably more than that now. Let's check it out. I bet it's up to 1,000 now. Nope, it's not. It's only got 115,000. I mean, 150,000. 150 people literally following it. Important distinction there. My apologies. Okay, get back to this article, because it's so silly. Drakery's Dragon. Still anything can happen. And then it cites Dogecoin as an example for anything that can happen. I don't think that's going to be a very apt analogy on this scenario. It's kind of reminds me of every new NFT project likes to tether itself to the success of Bored Ape Yacht Club. Oh, looks like the next Bored Ape Yacht Club. Well, everybody wants to make those kind of associations, right? I personally don't know enough about Game of Thrones to know what Drakery's Dragon is. Don't kill me, guys. I mean, I've seen random episodes of it, and I've always liked it just fine. I don't not like Game of Thrones, but I never had the super fever like everyone did, you know? I'm more of like a Rome guy. That was also an HBO series that only lasted 2 seasons from about, that's probably 9 or 10 years old now. But Rome was phenomenal. Similar vibe, but much more steeped in like actual real Roman history. But the acting, the casting, the sets were just off the charts, like incredibly good. All right, let me check up and see if anything's going on in the chat. Alan giving us some sage advice. Funny how much people spend eating out when you can cook better and more food for cheaper. Yeah, I mean, no lie detected. And you know what's going in the ingredients, right? Manju, welcome. Hey, Stephen, when will Doge hit $1? I couldn't tell you for certain, but what I can tell you is I put it in the high probability category to happen throughout the course of 2022. I think it's a very high probability that Dogecoin will hit $1 and probably beyond in 2022. I think these are things I talk about many times on this program, Manju, are all the reasons why I think the landscape and the table is being set for Dogecoin to be able to ascend to such value. Okay. Elon Musk stirs up cryptocurrency community again as he talks down Bitcoin and hypes up Dogecoin in an interview. But boy, oh boy. I don't know how many of you have seen the interview with Elon Musk and Lex Fridman, the most recent one that just came out, just released yesterday. But it is a doozy, and people are fired up about it in one way or another. And the Bitcoin maximalists are pretty upset. They're pretty upset. They are pretty ticked off about this. Elon Musk touched on 2 cryptocurrencies in his conversation with Friedman on Tuesday. This is a direct quote from Musk. Part of the reason why I think there's some merit to Dogecoin, even though it was obviously created as a joke, that it does actually have some higher transaction volume capability than Bitcoin, Musk said. The entrepreneur's comments attracted sharp response on Twitter from adherents of the Apex coin. Bitcoin podcaster Peter McLasso, he changed his last name there, but that's Mr. McCormick. I've had a few Twitter run-ins with Mr. McCormick of him attacking my pro Dogecoin tweets. we've had a little bit of tussles, a little bit of spirited back and forths on Twitter. And he tweeted this out. Peter said, talking ish about Doge. Here's Elon Musk talking ish about Bitcoin. Yep, Elon Musk talking ish about Bitcoin with Lex Blockman, he calls him. Editor of the Bitcoin magazine in Netherlands, Arnold Hubach, noted that Musk is aware of Layer 2 solutions like Lightning, which he ignored to make a point about Bitcoin being slow and expensive. A clip from yesterday's podcast, 1 minute before he mentions the two-layer solutions like Lightning, so he obviously knows about it, but yet he ignores the solution while trying to make a point for Bitcoin being slow and expensive. Why? Arnold Hubach fired out. Well, referring to Bitcoin, Musk said that has a fundamental issue that is that its transaction volume is very limited and the latency for confirmed transactions is long. Bitcoin is not, this is a direct quote from Elon, Bitcoin is not great from transactional volume standpoint or a latency standpoint. Musk also went on to say in this interview, it is not useful as a day-to-day currency. Hello. But people have proposed different technological solutions like Lightning Network and Layer 2 technologies on top of it. What do we make of this, folks? Well, this is incredibly good news. That's what we make of it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you're an enthusiast of Dogecoin, a holder of Dogecoin, it's incredibly good news. And it's sculpting the mainstream narrative and perception of Dogecoin in very real time, very efficiently now. Let's check the value of Dogecoin. Dogecoin's still looking fairly, fairly bullish. A moderate increase going on here while we're on the air. Another green candle went up. We're in some normal retracement now. But hopefully we'll keep ascending while we're on the air here. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Hi, Steven. Oh, I already read that. You guys are actually pretty quiet in the chat for tonight. Maybe I am going on too late now for folks. I can't help but think like half of you guys are watching kind of nodding off. It's 1:30 in the morning here in my neck of the woods. I don't know what time it is in your neck of the woods, but what's my Doge target? End of year on 2022? A year from today? Oh, I don't know. I'll spitball one out. Don't take this to the bank, but I'll give you an estimate. I'll say Dogecoin 1 year from today. I'll put it at $1.70. I'll put it at $1.70 1 year from today. Now, it could definitely go more than that. The 2022, it's really setting the plate for just enormous success. And I would say that estimation on Dogecoin 1 year from today, I'm kind of skewing on a modest end. I always skew more modestly and conservative on my Bitcoin. On all my end of year predictions, whether it's for Dogecoin or any other cryptocurrency. So please keep that in mind when I give end of year predictions. My end of year prediction, as you recall, Nick and others were saying that Bitcoin was going to easily get over 100,000. I said, well, I think it's going to be closer to 70,000. That's what I was contending to, and I was wrong because 70,000. We're not even close to 70,000. But oh, gotta pick up my bone from a dog. Here you go. I'm setting a reminder 1 year from today to watch the show. Oh, great! I'm either gonna be a genius or a fool. Not nearly as much so as say Crypto Batman, who predicted that Bitcoin was going to go to 300,000 by the end of this year. Yeah. I may not give you guys the most glamorous end of year predictions, but I gotta keep it real. I keep it real, but I'm also very optimistic. Put it that way. Do you hear that noise? My Doge, she keeps dropping her bone off the sofa onto the floor, and then she looks down at it, very forlorn, and it just looks to me to help her. And I gotta help her. When the dog gives you the pouty face like that. All right, don't drop the bone. Don't drop the bone. What is the next story? Morning Glory. Name that band. I'll tell you what it is, courtesy of Cointelegraph. This is big news, and this just came out today. Robinhood plans to launch beta crypto wallets in January as HOOD drops to $17. The forthcoming crypto wallet will allow users to deposit and withdraw Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and many others, the company said. Cryptocurrency and stock trading app Robinhood plans to roll out the beta version of its digital wallet feature starting in January 2022. In a Wednesday blog post, Robinhood said tens of thousands of users currently on the waitlist for the trading app's crypto wallet would have access to the beta version starting in mid-January. The trading app said more than 1.6 million people were waiting for the wallet. Wow! So they almost have, think about that, folks. We got over 1.5 million people waiting for their Robinhood wallets, and those are almost all exclusively crypto traders. That is massive. That is massive. So now the beta versions of the Robinhood wallets, now that we have confirmed today, are coming out in a matter of days. They're coming out in a matter of days. Sorry, guys. Hey, calm down. Sorry, this Doge she's really feisty. He's really feisty tonight. Where was my train of thought there? Where was I? Oh, so this is the first time we've had the closest thing we've gotten to a date. So they are looking towards the beginning of this next month, the beginning of January, to unroll these Robinhood wallets. Extremely good news. Extremely good news. What kind of effect do I think this is going to have on Dogecoin? I think it's going to be incredibly positive. Incredibly positive. Stop it. I think it's going to have an incredibly positive effect on Dogecoin and the entire market. We do have solid data that confers and shows that over 30% of all Dogecoin holders predominantly use Robinhood, or holding their Doge on Robinhood. So that's 30% of all Dogecoin holders that are going to suddenly have wallets. I think this is going to have an incredibly bullish effect. Manju, can Doge hit $1 before quarter one? Before the start of quarter one? No. The start of quarter one begins in a couple days, my friend. But if you're asking, what you meant to ask is that it will happen by the end of quarter one, it certainly can. Yes, it certainly can. I believe I put that in a moderate, pretty okay probability that could happen. Junior also got some Sheeb. You just never know. At least for now, Sheeb. Yeah. I don't blame you there. That could very well prove to be a smart move. I don't currently own any, but the future Sheeb remains to be seen. Has it experienced its apex already? It's possible. That's possible. But does it have a lot more legs to go the distance and still prove to give some really tasty gains? Absolutely. You don't have to be an investor of Doge to appreciate it and to enjoy it. That's for sure. That's for sure. This one's kind of funny. Dow aims to raise $5 million to resurrect Blockbuster Video. In the word of Little John. What? The Blockbuster Dow wants to raise at least $5 million to buy the iconic video rental brand from the Dish Network and turn it into a streaming film studio. A new decentralized autonomous organization has formed with the goal of buying the Blockbuster brand from the Dish Network and turning it into a film studio and streaming platform. Now, this could be a very ambitiously successful project. I could see this being a thing if done correctly. Blockbuster Video is an American video rental company founded in 1985, which once had 6,000 stores globally and was valued over $8 billion before it shuttered almost all its operations in 2014. It is currently owned by the Dish Network and operates just one store in Bend, Oregon. I knew there was one store left. But I didn't know it was in Oregon. I thought it was in Alaska. Man, how many of you are old enough to remember walking through Blockbuster Video and picking out movies? And the employees, part of your job as a Blockbuster employee was getting a feel for people's different tastes in movies and recommending movies to them. I would not want to have that responsibility. By the way, Doge continuing looking bullish here, guys. Another green weenie popping up here. Yeah, so let's see if this continues. I would say the biggest point of resistance I'm looking at right now is at about 17.55. If Doge can get up and get beyond 17.55, I think the probability onward to 18 cents becomes incredibly likely. Incredibly likely. I wouldn't want the responsibility of recommending movies to strangers. I really just wouldn't want that burden. Because if they don't like the movie, you're going to hear about it. And people can blame you for all sorts of things. On my one day off with my wife, we put on the popcorn, turned the lights down, and we proceeded to watch your crappy movie that you recommended me. Thanks a lot. Too much pressure, man. Too much pressure. Too much pressure. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it. But it was fun. It was fun to go get movies. But you better return them on time because those late fees, they really sock those late fees to you, man. Back in the day, they would give you late fees that were so large, they would far and away supersede the value of the copy of the movie. It was ridiculous. I remember people getting charged late fees like $100 for never returning or keeping a movie that they forgot they had under their bed for a couple months. Went to Blockbuster, then Netflix when mailed DVDs were available. Yeah, many people don't know that, but that wasn't even that long ago. I'd say it was probably about a decade ago, probably about 9 or 10 years ago, where Netflix first started out. That's what you do. You would sign up with different plans for how many DVDs you could run a month. And then they just had a processing plant where people would, the staff would literally send you DVDs. And Blockbuster had that going for a while too. That became their new modus operandi, right? Where you'd sign up for different plans for different how many DVDs you could rent a month, and then they would send them to you in the mail, and then they'd give you, then you'd have to send them back, of course. That's a huge hassle. Could you imagine going through that again now? Yeah. You rent 2 movies, and then you got to go to the U.S. Postal Service, and you got to send them back. I don't know if I ever participated in that. I don't think I ever. I remember I lived in this apartment complex at the time, and I remember a few of my neighbors having those, and a few guys that I knew having those, and they always had DVDs coming in the mail every day. But I don't think I ever did that. I think I just went to Blockbuster. I once met a girl at Blockbuster while I was looking for movies there. And I purchased a copy of Snakes on a Plane. Remember that with Samuel L. Jackson? I purchased a copy of Snakes on the Plane, and I took her back to my place, and we watched Snakes on the Plane at my place. Good times, good times. She was a very sweet girl. I forget what happened. But that movie is actually really funny. It's very self-aware. It's very self-aware. Yes, be kind and rewind. Where are you guys from, Junior asks. Yeah, where is everyone from? Let's do the geographic roll call here, guys. Sometimes they would just cut a deal with you. Yeah, I do remember that. I remember cutting a few of those deals at Blockbuster 7-1 back in the day. I remember those days. So we'll see. It looks like a Dow is trying to revive and rebrand Blockbuster into a streaming service. Hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for more competitive competition for streaming services because I think Netflix is pretty limited, frankly. Even Amazon Prime, I think it's pretty limited. So I think the more competition, the stronger the competition in that segment of the market, the better off the consumer is, for sure, for sure. All right, next story here. CoinDesk. Market wrap, year-end review. El Salvador adopts Bitcoin, and then they bought the dip. And this is all pretty much about that. It's a confusing title for an article when it just focuses on that, though. In June, El Salvador President Nayib, how do we say his name? Does anyone know? Nayib. I'm pretty sure that's the way you pronounce first name. Nayib Bukele. Not to be confused with another term, which would not be good. Announced that Bitcoin would become legal tender, making his country the first to make the move, which also meant no capital gains tax for Bitcoin holders. Bitcoin rose about 70% from a low around 30,000 toward near highs of 50,000 early September as traders reacted to the news from El Salvador, seen by many fans of the 12-year-old digital asset as long awaited. El Salvador's Bitcoin law went into effect in September. Okay, sorry, that story was a lot more boring than I remember when I scanned through it. I really don't have anything else to add to that one. Like, okay, we've talked about that one a lot. This one's a lot more interesting, though. Let's see where folks are from, though. Let's do the geographic roll call here. We've got John's from New York. Legal tender. We got Alabama. Andy, that's right, you're from Alabama. Cali Desert. Another New York, Diamond Hands Freddy. I think people are just like, whatever. I'm just chilling. I'm over it. You guys don't have to put all your locales in the chat if you don't want to. It's late. USA, it's a dangerous place. Yeah, it's arguably very true, and getting more so. Elon Musk says that he is considering Tesla bot becoming a companion with a unique personality. Wow. On the Lex Friedman podcast yesterday, Musk was asked if he considered the potential companionship role of a Tesla bot as either an assistant or a friend. He said, I think the possibilities are endless. It's not quite in Tesla's primary mission directive of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy, but it's an extremely useful thing for the world to make a humanoid robot that is capable of interacting with the world in many helpful different ways. Earlier this year, Musk announced plans for TeslaBot, a humanoid robot equipped with artificial intelligence aimed at completing general repetitive tasks. When Tesla started hiring for the new product, Musk wrote in the descriptions of the roles, the Tesla humanoid robotics modeling team is looking for a highly skilled, motivated colleague that would likely help building the next generation biped, I don't know how to pronounce the word, BIPED, biped robot. You will be working closely with a multidisciplinary team with a goal to build a humanoid robot that can support manufacturing options with tedious, exhaustive tasks. But now he's talking about Elon wants to program unique individual personalities in the Tesla bots. That's pretty wild. S71, I mean, you can already see it now, right? One of the first things humans always want to do is create companions for themselves with any technological advancement of this nature. Yeah. The future is now. The future is wow, ladies and gentlemen. Next story, courtesy of the Babylon Bee. Guys, this is a parody website, so take it as such. I thought this was kind of funny. The CDC now recommends wearing a seatbelt even when you're outside of the car. The CDC has issued a brand new recommendations regarding the wearing of seatbelts. Health experts are now recommending people wear a seatbelt even when outside of their cars. This guidance is especially important if you're in a large group of people at the peak of an outdoor event. Risk of collisions leading to bone breaks or concussions dramatically increase in large groups of people. When pressed regarding what gives the CDC authority to comment on seatbelt usage, they clarified that these were simply recommendations based on the latest scientific research for the sake of public health. When further asked how to exactly a seatbelt that's not anchored to anything can protect anyone, they replied in a statement saying, "Shut up, it's science." Bob's Quality Seatbelt Company concurred that the CDC findings concurred with the CDC findings and confirmed that their new outdoor seatbelts are now on sale for $59.99. What a deal. What a deal, folks. It's been a pretty slow news cycle, folks. So that's about all I got for you tonight. I hope this is enjoyable for you. Yeah, actually, we almost went about an hour and a half, just the same. But we're about 70 minutes now. About 70 minutes. And Dogecoin continues to ascend here, folks. Continues to ascend. A little bit of healthy retracement here, but I will be keeping an eye on it. But just for the record here, Dogecoin is up about... well, now it's in... Wait. Nope, it's still ascending. It's up about 1.5% over the last 2 hours. So not too shabby, not too shabby. And we'll continue to monitor the situation. Guys, I'm still like wide awake. And I've just had I'll spare the details of my personal life, but it's been a doozy. It's been a doozy. So I will be, fortunately, I'll probably be wide awake for a bit longer. You can catch me, feel free to catch me on Twitter. I'll probably be hanging out there. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I love you guys. I really do. And thanks for staying up with me late tonight. Yeah, just really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. I certainly know that I did. If you're not already subscribed, please feel free to do so. Just would love to have you stick around. All right, guys, that's all I got for now. Thanks each and every one of you guys. Again, hugely appreciate it. Until next time, my friends, this is Steele. Signing out.